Good evening. It is 6:30 p.m. Monday, March 7th, 2022. Kearney Board of Aldermen meeting. Call the meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shirley, you had a chance to take roll.
I have taken roll. Everybody's present. You have a quorum.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. Do you have any questions or items of discussion on the consent agenda this evening? There are no questions or
I do
items.
have one quick question on C6. Are they going to come back and present that to us on that? I know we're going to market on that, but I mean, it says a redo. What is it? We're just.
So essentially, like last time we did that, we work with Piper Jaffray, our.
Yeah, but it's not a redo.
Well, it's current bonds. I mean, it's essentially a rate term refinance. It's
right.
We're not increasing any debt obligation, but we're looking to see what interest cost savings we could realize.
Okay, so it's not. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda passes. We'll move on to mayor's remarks. First item I want to mention this evening is the Parade of Hearts art recognition and program coming to the community. Alderman Spencer and some city staff represented the city of Kearney extremely well at a kickoff late last week. The Parade of Hearts is a public arts experience located in the heartland of America. Original artwork based around the historical and iconic Casey Hart will be placed throughout the Kansas City region and as an example of unification and to make our community stronger. There'll be 154 one-of-a-kind hearts, 123 artists, 5 total beneficiaries, 71 sponsors, 30 cities, 5 counties, 1 heartland. So the Parade of Hearts celebration of hearts, our heart that was completed by a local Kansas City artist will be on display, hopefully installed very soon. They are currently installing them around the Kansas City area, and it'll be right here at the Historic Museum courtyard next to the fountain and our Matt Mason Memorial. It will be a great opportunity to showcase some local art and to bring people to our community. So we're excited to be selected as a host city, and thanks to our city administrator, Jim Eldridge, for helping secure that piece of art for our community. Next thing I want to mention is we've received notification from MoDOT that the I-35 contractor Clarkson Construction will be starting work early on our Interstage project as early as next week. Clarkson has worked out an agreement to use the quarry for a borrow site, as was the intention of the property owners, and work may start as soon as March 14th. So we are coordinating a groundbreaking ceremony with MoDOT, the contractor, and we'll announce that date as soon as those plans are finalized. Last thing I want to mention is the board may or may not be aware, I was appointed by the Metro Mayors to represent us on the Mid-American Regional Council main board. And today I invited David Warm, the Executive Director of Mid-America Regional Council, and some of his staff up to Kearney for a tour. We're constantly approving millions of dollars for improvements and items all over the metro. Unfortunately, I feel like sometimes that the Northland is left out on some of those opportunities. So I'll let the board know as soon as we finalize a date for David and some of his staff members to come to tour Kearney and see all the good things we have going on here. That concludes my mayor's remarks, and we'll move on to the administrator's report.
Mr. Mayor, I'm pleased to make a presentation this evening of the fiscal 2023 annual budget, which is enclosed in your agenda packet. Yeah, I have plenty of copies if everybody wants a copy. You guys like a copy? Mr. Mayor, the most significant expenditure planned in this budget remains the I-35 interchange at 19th Street. The city has deposited its share of funding with MoDOT, who is anticipated to issue a notice to proceed on April the 15th, with substantial completion anticipated for November 2023, with final completion May 15th, 2024. The city is proceeding to complete design of the Nation Road roundabout, which should go to bid this year, and is anticipated to complete within that same time frame. And that is estimated to cost $3.2 million right now. Thanks to our voters, a new use tax fund has been created, Fund Number 12, which projects $600,000 in revenues and includes budgeting for debt to be incurred for the construction of the 19th Street Pickleball Complex, estimated right now at $1.8 million, and Hall Park, $500,000. We are investigating the grant application opportunities for Hall Park to leverage the city's investment. The use tax will fund the salaries of 2 new police officers and equipment. Budgeting is also in place for Cottonwood sidewalk extension and a new animal control officer at some point later this year. As part of the Lions Park renovation, the Park Capital Improvements Fund has funding available for siding and windows replacement, which is partially being donated by Ply Gym, and funding for a new roof at the Firehouse Center. That also includes, we'll also have an irrigation system included in that funding line item. The general fund has funds budgeted for roof replacements for City Hall and 103 East Washington Museum building, which may require lease purchase financing depending on the costs. And we have an expert that's giving us specifications for that bid to take place very soon. Thanks to the availability of ARPA funds, Fund Number 66, the following projects have been identified in this budget. Water plant valves and piping, $403,135. Salt barn project, $442,200. Shadowbrook storm sewer line, $400,000. 12th Street culvert replacement, $100,000. Ground storage tank, $778,000. We, of course, are still seeking additional funding for the ground storage tank and have solicited Clay County and anticipate on submitting an application to the state of Missouri, who is also making their ARPA funds available for water and sewer projects. And so we'll have to keep you updated on how that process works. $15,000 is budgeted for a zoning map update in the community development budget. 2 new positions are created in the water and sewer administration budget. A new sewer plant operator and a new water plant operator are proposed to be hired to cover expanded hours of operation, especially with the intention of lowering Kansas City water purchases, is our hope. We have a new pickup that's actually a carryover from the prior year. Couldn't get that bought for water and sewer, and I think it's split between the water and sewer and the street. $20,000 is proposed for new street banners, thanks to the efficient efforts of the Wayfinding Sign Committee, who have kept the cost down on these signs. We will have some extra funding available for that. The finance position, finance director position remains in our budget and remains a priority that we get that position filled. That is split between City Hall and the Water Department. This budget proposes a 3% salary increase and step increases to those available. We've also done some salary adjustments on a couple of employees, which I could go over with you all. We also have the new wellness reimbursement program included in the budget. Would the board like to have us a more detailed explanation of the individual funds? We did that last year. Be happy to go through it. Other than that, I'd like to simply thank the city staff for helping me put this together. Want to particularly thank Annette Davis and Mayor Pogue for helping us put this together. This is a $25.7 million budget. If you go to the very last page, that is what the total tally is. 25.7 million, supported with an existing fund balances and $18.8 million in revenue. So, like I say, if the board would like to ask any questions, or I'd be happy to go into more detail.
Thank you for that information. I've spent many hours on the budget already with staff. Thank you, Jim, for you and your staff for working extremely hard on putting together a balanced budget that I feel will truly serve our community extremely well. As you know, unlike state and federal government, we do not deficit spend, so I'm pleased that we are able to present a balanced budget, continue to improve on infrastructure, putting public safety a priority, and operating a fiscally responsible government. So any questions from the board, anything you guys would like additional details on?
I do have one question.
Okay.
And Jim, this is not a knock, it's just something I forgot to ask earlier. Is there room in this budget to replace the, I guess it'd be, it's not really a box culvert, but the tube underneath 2nd Street down here by the tennis court, where we've been having an erosion problem down there?
Right. Well, we've prioritized. There's one on 12th Street that's equally as bad, if not worse. And we would like to go after the one on 12th Street. We certainly have that one in check on 2nd Street.
Yeah.
2nd Street. I'll just have to, you know, if it were to show more signs of settlement, we'd certainly be down there on it.
Yeah, I'm just concerned of a child, you know, because it sinks down and somebody step into it and maybe break an ankle or something like that. That's why I was concerned about the one on 2nd Street. Because last time when it sank, it got a pretty good hole before we got to fill it, because it doesn't get washed out until it rains real bad.
Right.
It's not like it's a constant deal, and
I'll
that's
just
why I
have to
wonder.
defer to Donnie on that.
So-
and-
I have not noticed a new hole since we packed it tight the last time.
Okay, good.
So I keep a regular eye on it.
Yeah, keep an eye on that, because there's kids
Yep,
involved.
and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I figure at some point in time, we're gonna have to replace that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there continues to be a list of unfunded infrastructure updates that Donnie keeps us updated on. Big one, this budget identifies the Shadowbrook issue, the 12th Street issue. That if that doesn't get resolved, I'm afraid we'd have to recommend shutting down a stretch of 12th Street. It's getting that bad, so.
The Shadowbrook, that's the one that's been going on for years.
Yes.
The
Well,
erosion from all okay.
the corrugated pipe. That's, we like to put salt on our streets to provide safe streets, but it's not very nice to with corrugated pipe, so.
Shocking concept.
That's not the one that we put the plastic film on the inside, is it? Was it? No, it's not that one.
We talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about it in a similar, we've done a similar repair in other areas of the community that's worked out extremely well, so that's the repair that staff's recommended to solve that problem.
Yes. Yeah, we're working with our engineer to get his blessing on that, which is difficult. He wants us to tear it out and put in concrete pipe, and that's, you know, far more expensive, and we think we've got a good solution working with Tom Decker on lining it. So I think we're almost there.
Alderman Lehman or Alderman Barker?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Do you need a motion to approve it?
What we generally do is table it for a couple of weeks, and if you all have questions between, especially, I would welcome the opportunity to sit down individually with anybody who might want to, ask for a more detailed dive into what we're doing. But this is really similar. I mean, I could go through all the different funds, but I think the last time it was pretty boring. And
Well, that's saying something for it to be boring for you.
well, it's not boring for me, it's boring for you guys.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind talking about it all.
Yeah, if you're not looking for approval tonight, I think that gives the board ample time to continue to review and let you know if there's any questions, and we can look at approving it at our next regular scheduled meeting.
We'll have a proposed ordinance that would adopt the ordinance at that time. And Mr. Mayor, that really concludes my report.
Okay. We have no public requests or petitions this evening, no public hearing scheduled, no new business. We do have an item to discuss under new business this evening.
No old business.
Did I say no new business?
It's like,
Yeah, we have no old business. We do have an item of new business to discuss.
And Mr. Mayor, that is your reappointment of Kim Murphy to the Zoning Board of Adjustments. His term has expired, and you have reappointed or recommended his reappointment.
David Pavlich spoke with Mr. Murphy, and Mr. Murphy does desire to continue serving the city on the Board of Zoning Adjustments. It's my opinion, obviously, that he has been an extremely valuable member of that committee, and somebody I wish that the board will approve my reappointment for that committee.
I'll make a motion to approve Kim Murphy to the Board of Zoning Adjustments.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I appreciate the support and the reappointment of Mr. Murphy. We'll move on to Alderman discussion. Alderman Holt, I'm going to let you go tonight first.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I'm so excited to announce that Way Signs, a 6-7 year project that we've been working on, is coming to fruition. If you look around town, you'll notice that today that several of those signs were actually installed. We are becoming a modern city. So you get to find your way around town, and as our visitors come to town, they can find our locations for our school and city hall and parks, and I'm pretty excited about this. It's been an ongoing project that's taken a little while. We've had many different drawings and ideas of where they need to go, and we had to work with MoDOT to get right away, and it's an exciting day for Kearney that we got our wave sign. So I'm very, very proud to announce that today.
Great. Yeah, thanks to you and everybody who's worked on that. Alderman Barger?
Well, I don't have a lot. I would just like to say that I'm really happy to see that the city is following through with its promises with the use tax, and that all of the items that we said were going to be in our next budget with the passage of the use tax are there. And so we're excited to get moving on these projects.
Yeah, we're pushing forward, so good message. Alderman Lehman?
A couple of things. One is obviously the Parade of Hearts. It's really neat to see the city of Kearney included in that. That'll be fun to see people come to Kearney and to get their picture taken with the heart that Jim had up on the screen earlier. And so it's neat to see that Kearney's being included now instead of excluded in a lot of things. And we've always been kind of on the outskirts, and like you said earlier, we tend to get overlooked a lot of times. So it's great to see this happening. I did want to share with the board and the city staff, what's it been, 2 weekends ago? The Boy Scouts had their Klondike Derby out at Jesse James Park. Couldn't have happened at a better time, had perfect amount of snow. And we had our district-wide roundtable Thursday of last week. And everybody knows that I live here, and I spent an hour and a half literally talking to different people about how impressed they were with Jesse James Park. It was just a perfect location for them, and so they were extremely pleased with Jesse James Park, and they're already planning on looking at next year to try to do it again if the city will allow them. So last but certainly not least, I'd echo Alderman Barger's comments about the use tax. We went to the voters with specific items in mind, and these things are going to happen. And so all those naysayers out there will have to see that we do live up to our promises. So kudos to staff and the committee for following through on that. So,
Alderman Spencer.
You know, everyone pretty much has already said it all, but being part of the wayfinding signs and also knowing a bit about the Parade of Hearts, I am very excited to see both of those happening in our city. This will be a very good thing for visitors and tourists. I'm looking forward to seeing an uptick in tourism this year with some of the efforts that the Chamber of Commerce is doing. So we're getting some things in place to move forward.
Great. That concludes our meeting. Can we entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting?
so moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you.